Design teams are now crafting proposals for Thunder Bay's indoor turf facility. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The proposed facility is getting closer to becoming a reality.
The city has narrowed down the list of potential builders for the controversial hangar-style facility next to the community auditorium. Riley Cohen has been covering the story today. Riley, what is the latest?
Thanks, Ryan. The city included the newest details in a citizen survey launched this week about the project. Along with the short list of builders, the survey also includes new images and timelines for the facility, which will be a game changer for soccer and other turf sports during the cold winter months. More than 20 design build teams initially expressed interest in the estimated $42 million project. But according to the city's manager of capital facilities construction, Kelvin Jankowski, only 3 firms have met all the required criteria and remain in contention.
We settled on 3 design build teams to proceed forward with an RFP for design build services. One is led by Tom Jones, the other is Finway, and the third is, I believe, McDonald Brothers. Over the next few months, they will be putting together a design and cost estimate for their concept of a new turf facility based on our requirements.
The city has just launched a citizen survey on its Get Involved website to gain feedback on the plans as they stand now. The 3 firms' proposals are due by the end of February, after which city staff will evaluate them based on technical quality and cost. The city says the process is designed to prioritize value for taxpayers while staying within the project's approved budget.
We're going through the paces. There's questions being asked and answered as we go through, and we're just allowing them to proceed with their design and giving them as much time as we possibly can to keep the timelines intact, and hoping to have 3 qualified proposals to review in early March.
The city says the new sports complex will serve over 6,000 athletes, offering a premier facility for turf sports in Thunder Bay. As for the debt from the project, Jankowski says there are plans in place to limit the impact on the city's taxpayers.
So in the background, we're also working with various stakeholders and have put applications in for funding to offset some of the debt that may result as a result of awarding the contract. And so that's ongoing, and there'll be more news on that as we move forward.
Once the winning design is selected, city staff will fine-tune the details and explore other cost-saving options before construction begins. And assuming City Council approves it, the contract would be awarded this spring, with construction slated to start this summer.
Our hope is that if everything goes well, we will have that facility up and running and ready for public access fall 2026.
Riley Cohen, TBT News.
The Regional Food Distribution Association released more details today about a $6.9 million expansion that'll improve its ability to serve the region.
The efforts are more important than ever as the RFDA sees more and more people in desperate need of food and other services. Vasilos Bellos has more.
Construction has begun on an expansion that'll help tackle food insecurity in the region. On Thursday, the Regional Food Distribution Association announced a $6.9 million, 5,200 square foot addition to their building on Syndicate Avenue. The work includes a dedicated hamper room, a wild game kitchen, sacred fire area, community teaching kitchen, and more.
The handout is only the beginning, so the hand up is where we really wanted to focus.
Executive Director Volker Krom says the expansion will improve their ability to get food to those in need, while allowing opportunities for community members to come together to learn about healthy lifestyles and cooking.
Will allow us to take that next big giant step. We've been doing some training, what's available in the kitchen, but it is limited. Also the need and the capacity of just being able to distribute food stopped us from being able to do even more.
The RFDA has set a capital fundraising goal of $1.5 million to get the project over the finish line.
We feed a lot of people, and we need to feed more.
Bruno Niederoh is chairing the team looking to raise funding for the big project. They have 2 years to achieve the fundraising goal, a timeline Niederoh is confident with.
Large list of potential donors, but we couldn't go to them before today, before we announce it. And then we have also a pamphlet and sheets for the public, which we're going to hand out.
The project has already received significant financial contributions, including from the City of Thunder Bay, Newmont, TBT, the Shaw Family Foundation, and the Patterson Foundation. President of the Patterson Foundation, Alexander Patterson, says supporting this cause was an easy choice.
Proper nutrition is so empowering for people, and and helping people, educating people on how to prepare meals for themselves is so important.
The expansion comes as rising food prices have made the RFDA more important than ever for Northwestern Ontario. The organization currently services thousands across the region, including 37 partner organizations and 47 First Nation communities. Vicioyos Bellos, TBT News.
A big provincial announcement in Kenora today. Indigenous Affairs Minister Greg Rickford confirmed that his government will invest more than $28 million to construct a new Aboriginal Health Access Centre. The facility will be built in downtown Kenora. It's meant to connect more Indigenous people and families to community-led primary health care services. It will feature doctors, nurse practitioners, nurses, mental health counselors, and culturally relevant services.
Team Winhack and Charlene, the work you do, and I'm just here to be a proud supporter. So my name is Greg Rickford. I'm the member of Provincial Parliament for the Great Kenora Rainy River riding. It's a privilege and an honor to serve my constituents, but when it comes to healthcare, it hits you right here, and I couldn't be more delighted to rally behind this project. Thank you.
Yep. There's no timeline for construction. The new facility will consolidate programs and services that are currently provided across multiple sites in the Kenora area. Officials say it'll improve timely access to Indigenous-led healthcare and reduce unnecessary emergency department visits at the Lake of the Woods District Hospital.
A 33-year-old from Thunder Bay has been charged with arson in connection with a fire inside a Dryden apartment building yesterday evening. Firefighters and OPP were called to the Duke Street apartment around 5 o'clock. They found a small fire that's believed to have been intentionally set. The accused was scheduled in court today.
The Lakehead and Catholic school boards are warning parents and guardians that student information may have been compromised in a data breach. A third-party system known as PowerSchool, which is used by school boards all over North America, was hacked over the holiday break. Efforts are now underway to figure out what exact information was accessed. As CTV's Mike Walker tells us, it's affecting boards across the province.
Sensitive information about GTA students and staff stored on the PowerSchool application may have been stolen in a data breach late last month, leaving some parents on edge.
It's very concerning, in this modern day and age, that I think that data should be protected at all costs.
The application is used by school boards across North America, including the Toronto District School Board.
We are committed to protecting your student and staff data.
PowerSchool boasts about its security measures. In an update to school boards today, officials blame the data breach on a compromised username and password.
These credentials had been out there. This attacker found them on the dark web and used them.
PowerSchool said it learned of the breach on December 28th. Sensitive and personal data were accessed.
It would be things like social security number, some PII, some demographic type data, date of birth, things like that, medical information.
The cloud software is used by 76% of Canadian students. At this point, it's not clear how many school boards are affected.
This is the largest and most damaging hack, potentially, since 2017.
This cyber safety expert says the impact could be detrimental.
Personally identifiable information has been stolen, and as a result, that could mean even more power in the hands of perpetrators to intimidate, to threaten, to extort those families that have been impacted.
PowerSchool states there was no evidence of malware. The incident has been contained and its security measures since improved, adding that the hackers deleted the information and that no copies were posted online.
We know that just because you see somebody press delete on a screen, it doesn't mean that's going to be the end of all of the data that is being purged from that one computer.
If you talk about your addresses and stuff like that, You would hope for the best.
The province's Information and Privacy Commissioner now launching an investigation. The TDSB says it's still working with PowerSchool to confirm what information may have been accessed and will provide updates as soon as that information is available. Mike Walker, CTV News.
And the local school boards say anyone whose information is found to have been compromised will be contacted.
The Association of Municipalities of Ontario says the province has reached a tipping point when it comes to homelessness.
More than 80,000 people were known to be homeless in the province in 2024, over 25% more than just 2 years earlier. CTV's Sanjay Maru brings us the details.
Too many people are stuck in a cycle because our homeless response system is broken and poorly funded.
About 81,500 people experienced homelessness in Ontario in 2024. And according to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, that number could rise to more than 294,000 by 2035. And across the province, the report finds average wait times for social housing are more than 5 years.
The last number that we have is roughly 9,000 people on our wait list in Windsor and Essex County. I would say that we're probably right in line with the 5 to 6 year time frame of a wait list of people who are on the chronological order.
I was just homeless for 5 months before I could even find a room to rent. The housing's ridiculous in this city.
One of the more alarming statistics in the report shows 25% of the more than 80,000 people in Ontario experiencing homelessness are younger than 25 years old. In Windsor, the number of homeless youth is about half of that, but officials say it's still alarming.
We have about 110 youth, or represents about 12% of the number of households experiencing homelessness. 12% is 12% too high in my books around youth homelessness. And we need to do more.
So what does doing more look like? AMO has some ideas.
We need housing subsidies, we need affordable housing, we need partners in the not-for-profit sector as well as the for-profit sector so we can get people into those kinds of housing so that they're stable.
AMO says total estimated funding for housing and homelessness programs in Ontario reached $4.1 billion by 2024. But according to those in the homelessness sector on all levels, that's just a drop in the bucket.
We need all this funding. There's no doubt, but it's just not enough.
According to AMO, ending chronic homelessness in Ontario would require an additional investment of $11 billion over 10 years, not just to fund affordable housing and prevention, but also for services which support outflow from homelessness.
The prices of everything drastically need to change. It's just impossible to survive these days.
Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Premier Doug Ford says Ontario will spare no expense to help battle the out-of-control wildfires ravaging California. The MNR says it's sending 2 water bombers, well over 100 firefighters, and other equipment. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
Premier Doug Ford calls scenes like this unfolding in Los Angeles tragic as fires eat through communities, homes, memories.
The poor frontline firefighters, they're absolutely exhausted, and they need some relief.
Relief is on the way from Ontario, sending 2 water bombers like this one and 165 urban firefighters and all their gear to California, help to fight back the destructive flames. It's a plan that's taken a few days to line up in the down season for Ontario wildfires.
We're working with the federal government, they're working with the state of California, and we're just waiting for the green light. Hopefully we'll get this and they'll be on their way by tomorrow.
The offer of help lands in the middle of an escalating dispute over tariffs and financial pain to force Canada to join the U.S.
This is an example of what I've been saying. You know, our closest friend and our closest ally needs help, and we're going to make sure we're going to be there for supporting them.
At the same time, CTV News has learned the federal government's considering retaliatory tariffs on American-made things like ceramics, steel, and Florida orange juice.
I agree with their list and other areas that I've seen. I agree with it. But isn't this a shame? You know, it's a shame that we have to go down this road with our closest ally and friend.
No final decisions have been made about whether to retaliate if Donald Trump follows through on his tariff threat.
That was CTV's Siobhan Morris reporting. Well, seniors at the 55 Plus Center learned about fall prevention at their weekly Lunch and Learn program this afternoon.
The topic is even more important than usual, given all the icy sidewalks and parking lots around the city this winter. Jaden Billick reports.
Tips on improving bone health and catching diseases common with older age early, like osteoporosis, through daily exercise and vitamins was the first discussion on the table during this week's Lunch and Learn at the 55 Plus Center. It's an important discussion to have, especially during the icy conditions this winter. Medical student Emily Pinn says although bone loss with age is inevitable, there's a few key ways of staying healthy.
So whether that be increasing their exercise, increasing their calcium intake, adding in some vitamin D supplements, I think these are all tips that they can do to kind of slow the progression of bone loss as they age, and that it's not always going to be a negative thing with aging and bone loss. There's ways to prevent it and slow it down.
Falls are a leading cause of injury among older adults, but with the right strategies, they can often be prevented. The team recommends simple steps like removing household tripping hazards, walking with a buddy, and staying mindful of everyday activities that can lead to unexpected injury. Barbara Andros is a retired nurse celebrating her birthday at the Lunch and Learn and says everyone is vulnerable to falls.
When we fall, what do? Call 911 if you're by yourself. But the best thing is to walk with a person. There are other exercises that can help you with osteoporosis, osteopenia, falls, mobility. And there's many sources and equipment too to help you. So I always like to keep informed of what's the newest thing, and I enjoy the presentation and I enjoy the lunch as well.
Sports Service Coordinator with the 55 Plus Center, Corinne Graham says being able to have weekly speakers come into the center and speak face-to-face with individuals seeking information like health strategies is a great opportunity.
Fall prevention was one of the biggest recommendations from our older adults to talk about bone health and structure. So I asked the young ladies from Compass North to talk about it. So it was a great success. And we had a huge wait list too.
Jaden Billick, TBT News.
Anyone looking for something fun to do this weekend can go check out Annie Jr., presented by Applause Productions. The show, which features a cast of talented young actors, opens tonight at Trinity Church Hall.
Favorite song? It's gonna be, I think I'm gonna like it here, because everyone works so well together.
Annie Jr. is a heartwarming tale about an orphan with a big voice and even bigger dreams. Set in the 1930s, New York City, the story follows Annie as she escapes the clutches of mean Miss Hannigan and finds herself in the luxurious home of billionaire Oliver Warbucks. Packed with unforgettable songs like Tomorrow and It's a Hard Knock Life, Annie is a timeless celebration of hope, resilience, and the belief that the sun will come out tomorrow.
My favorite part about playing Annie is probably like the journey that she goes through with her parents, with all of her orphan siblings, I guess. And yeah, it's really fun.
These kids work so hard and they deserve an audience. And I just want them to see how wonderful they are. So just come out. It's the Thursday to Sunday at 7 o'clock. And the tickets are available on Eventbrite. So just come out. It's great. The kids are amazing.
Again, the musical opens tonight at Trinity Hall. Tickets are also available at the door.
Well, the sun may come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Today in the weather, we got a little bit of sun, but the temperatures were great.
Things are definitely warming up in the city. However, as we discussed yesterday, it doesn't last long. And it's definitely not going to last long in northwestern Ontario. Now, today, we had an early morning low of -11. Wind chills made it feel closer to -14, but that's closer to what we should be seeing as a daytime high than an overnight low. We topped out today at -2 with wind chills around -6. Mostly cloudy, but it was the wind that you never knew what was going to happen. At times it was completely calm. And then maybe a couple hours later, it was gusting up to 32 kilometers per hour, but all coming from the southwest, so nice and mild. And as we look to what was going on, throughout the day. There we go. We've got that snow trying to push in throughout northwestern Ontario. So with the heat came the snow, colder temperatures to the east. As you can see at this hour, we've got some light snow, periods of snow and freezing drizzle in Red Lake throughout the day, but the temperature is fairly consistent, whether it's cloudy, mostly cloudy, or light snow. Wind chills are ranging in the -9 to -12 throughout northwestern Ontario. Last night, frigid cold temperatures, -25 in Greenstone. Sault Ste. Marie had wind chills of -30, but things have balanced out quite nicely throughout the region at this hour. Tonight, -10 and minimal wind chill. We could see about 2 to 4 centimeters for this evening and about a 60% chance overnight. The big takeaway from that, though, is that with 2 to 4 centimeters of snow on the ground, what is it covering? Sheer ice, and that's where you get those risk of falls that we just talked about in that last report. So something to bear in mind tomorrow morning as you head out.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much, Fiona. Well, when we come back, we'll be turning to the devastating wildfires in LA, where close to 200,000 people are under evacuation orders as fire crews enter their third day trying to battle those blazes.
Stopped one that went, and then it reignited at about 4:30 this morning, and thank God I woke up at the perfect time.